Today we're going to be revisiting a case that we covered here at the Sofa Squad, I guess many moons ago at this point. We're going to be revisiting the victim of the case, and what I mean by that is we're going to be revisiting how people are keeping the victim's memory alive through volunteer ways. Today we're going to be talking about Dan Brophy. Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. Sofa's back there. Psh, psh, psh. I'm right here. Psh, psh, psh. The boys are over there sleeping. My name's Paul if you're new to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, my name is Paul. Before we get started, I'd like everybody to know that I ain't no doctor, I ain't no lawyer, I ain't no cop, I ain't no therapist, I ain't none of that fancy credentialed stuff, okay? Only credentials we got up in here is the sofa and some of my sass. So I'm just making commentary on very public information. I urge you to do your own research, come to your own opinions, and share them friendly like in the comment section below. Now today we're going to be going back in time to the case that most people know it from, the Nancy Brophy case. I did a big deep dive on it a couple of years ago when this went through trial. And what we'll do here is we're going to do a quick overview so that you can kind of get on the same page as to who we're talking about in the context of this. The victim's name is Dan Brophy, so keep that in mind. So Nancy Brophy was married to Dan Brophy for many years, okay? Dan was a chef. Nancy was a self-published author. She actually met him taking some courses from him, from his cooking classes and whatever. And Nancy has a very wild imagination, okay? Now, she even made a blog post that came out during trial and whatnot at one point on how to your husband. And then apparently she did it in real life. Nancy would slowly purchase the elements that she thought would be a part of the perfect crime, the perfect story. Then she would go to the Oregon Culinary Institute in Portland, and she would take the life of Dan by shooting him. Now, she would say that this didn't happen. It was before the day started. He was getting ready for students and doing that kind of thing. Now, Nancy would take the stand in trial and literally give what was one of the most drawn out testimonies I have ever seen in my life, okay? She absolutely loved hearing herself talk. If you listen to all my videos and you hear me say caveat and how I'm like, oh, I hate saying this word, this is where that came from, okay? So I just took out a few quick clips for those who aren't familiar. Let's look at those real quick and then we'll continue on to the meat of the video.
What else have I bought? Oh man.
What about binoculars?
Oh yeah. We have a really nice set of binoculars, which started out as a writing tool, and as I moved on, they became a tool we held on to.
Did you spend a lot of money on your writing?
Yes, I did.
Did that bother Dan?
Not at all. Press. And he said, no. But I also knew that if we didn't have it, other people would. I wasn't that worried.
How are you going to pay for that gun?
Dan gave me $400 in cash, and I took $400 out of our joint account. I don't want to be the slow one on the end of somebody who says, we'll publish your story for you. I want to be the one who's there and ready. So that was what I was doing, was, working through how to bend light.
So that's just a taste of it. This went on for, I want to say days, hours. It was absolutely horrible. Her stepson, Dan's biological son, would get up there and read her for filth during sentencing, okay? Cleared the room with her, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. One of my Patreon members, Rachel, shout out to Rachel, sent this article in our little community chat over there, and I just thought this was so beautiful, and these are the kind of things that I like to see, that I was just like, this is such a wonderful thing for these people to do to keep his memory alive, and so meaningful. Now, obviously, you would wish that Dan was still here to do this himself, right? But that being said, this is just a beautiful thing that took place. So, now, just again, to keep in mind, who we just saw was Nancy Brophy. That was his wife, okay? Now, after she took his life, like 3 months went by, okay? She went to trial in April of 2022. The case was delayed by years, okay? Because of COVID and all this type of stuff, okay? Now, she claimed to have literally no memory of when Dan was killed that morning, right? She couldn't remember why she was driving around the Institute. Of course, as always, they were able to get GPS and all this kind of stuff. She, played the whole, I forgot, I was at the crime scene. I mean, it was next level, right? Now, even through Nancy going on and on and on, all this kind of stuff, the jury didn't buy it, okay? It took them 8 hours to deliberate to convict her of the second-degree murder of Dan. She's sentenced to life in prison. She'll be eligible for parole when she's 91 years old. She ain't leaving, okay? So, there's that to finish that off with. Now, in this article, I'm going to put it up here on the screen. This is from KATU ABC. Now, you'll see this is by Wesley Ogle. This was published December 6, 2024. And the title here says, Everyday Heroes, Chef Dan Brophy's legacy of mentorship lives on through the pumpkin pie drive. The top section here says, this Thanksgiving, the Lincoln High School students will be collecting a record-breaking 1,007 pumpkin pies to deliver to 16 nonprofits in Portland. And it says the culinary arts teacher Melanie Hamrickson has continued a tradition started by her mentor, Chef Dan Brophy, 16 years ago at the Oregon Culinary Institute. And it says how the Mr. Brophy was killed in 2018, but she's ensured his legacy lives on. Now I'm going to quote her in the article as well here. She says, he was like a father to me, and so it was just really important to do something to honor him every year and his legacy, what he brought to our community and to the people on the streets. It was really important to him, and it was kind of annoying to me when I worked with him how much he'd push it, but now I annoy the kids, so it's all full circle. That's just absolutely amazing. Okay, so she says, it goes on to say, that her students enjoy baking 100 homemade pies for the drive this year. Oh, I love them. They're amazing, she said. It's really exciting that they get to share this with me. It was hard with him passing, and sharing his legacy with them is amazing, and he would love it. Now, it goes on to say that they delivered 50 pies to Chef Brophy's parents at First Baptist Church, ensuring they felt the love as well. They were so grateful. They were just so happy to see Chef. They love her so much, Hook said. Hook, who came home early from college to help with the pie drive, said, she's my mentor, and she's why I chose Cal Poly. I'm going to school for food science, and it's all because of Chef and her culinary class. It really is just so meaningful to me now, especially because it's because of Chef's mentor, and now that she's my mentor, it's like a full circle moment. Now it goes on just this last part here to say the legacy of Chef Brophy is sure to live on through each class student. I'm going to quote them, it's a time for love, it's time for family, and if you have the ability to help someone else, why don't you help them, Hook said. What a beautiful thing, and when I read this, I was like, this is so nice to see, because in so oftentimes, and the crimes that we read about, the trial comes, the case happens, it's salacious, it's this and that, and then it kind of goes away. But obviously the people are left, and something like this to continue on in somebody's legacy and somebody's name for the impact, and this really speaks to the volume, it gives me goosebumps, of how much people affect and touch other people's lives. For Mr. Dan Brophy, Chef Dan Brophy, to sit here and have this impact to make somebody want to continue something on his name, and to have this full circle moment in life to be like, wow, it all comes back. Because you even heard her say, like, it used to get on my nerves how much he was like this, that, and the other about it, but I get it now. And I'm that way with my students, and her students are sitting here having this moment. You see the good that goes on and continues on and goes full circle and connects us all. And I just think that that's what life is about. So I thought this was so beautiful. I'm so appreciative to get this, for somebody to have taken the time to send this, our little chat there, and make me aware of it. Again, I don't think Nancy will ever get out. This was, again, another one of those cases where so many people had so many amazing things to say about this guy. He seemed like just a laid-back, chill dude, and Nancy seemed like somebody who was wanting to live a certain lifestyle that he just was like, look, we have each other, we have our life, why can't we just be happy with that? But she wasn't happy with that. Now again, this case was so bizarre. I mean, they've already made like TV Lifetime episodes and movies and all this kind of stuff on it, and again, her testimony was so over the top. I made a video on it if you want to go back and look at it. If you're somebody who enjoys trials and watching them and whatnot, or like absurd trials, I guess you could say, where you're just watching like, this takes the cake. It's Sarah Boone level, okay, if you're unfamiliar with the case. But again, at the center of it is a tragedy. It's Dan, right? Now again, Nancy would never admit to doing anything wrong, still doesn't, claims her innocence. So, there's that, but the evidence is the evidence, right? You don't just happen to be at the crime scene and forget why you were there with all of the things used to take the life of the person. So there's that. Anyways, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. This was just a nice little reprieve from the darkness that we see and whatnot. So anyways, that's it. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. If you could, drop some sofas off for myself, Roscoe and Spirit, as well as the boys who have been sleeping so kindly over there. And until we get on our little sofa down in the comment section and meander on down there to talk about this case and all the other ones we do talk about here at the Sofa Squad, We'll see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.